Right now we're in the office.
Yep, I remember it.
Where all the management sitting.
Yep.
We're gonna go inside the lab right now. I'm gonna show you the lab and not us. Thank you, Akiva. Thank you. Yeah. And from now on, I will let Akiva to explain a little bit about each room.
All right, so here, there's a better angle from here. This is our R&D lab. In this lab, we test out new kits, new protocols. We try to streamline our ongoing processes. Here we're testing, for example, the pooling and the group samples that we're receiving from the school children. And we do it in a separate lab. It's our smaller lab. That way we don't impinge upon the activity going on in our main lab.
We're gonna go inside for a little walk.
Sure.
All right, so you can see here are robots. Like I said, these robots are in use right now primarily for R&D. So we're always trying to improve our ongoing processes. We also test when we get new kits, new plasticware, new machines. We always have to verify that they work. So this is where we do it. For example, like I said, we're going to start testing different ways of pooling. Also, when we get the swabs from the school children, we're going to be doing the testing here. And we have it.
Pooling already?
Sorry?
Is the pooling in practice?
The pooling, we're still in the pilot stages. We're trying to test out the best algorithms to make sure that it works properly. So it's in the early stages, but we're hoping soon for it to be in the production phase. Right now, it's still in the R&D phase.
Are we pulling one in 4? Or?
So right now, yeah, it's roughly that 1 in 4. Sometimes even a little bit less. That way, we don't have to change it depending on infection rates.
I see.
So we're testing. That's part of the testing, is to see kind of what's the best ratio.
Okay.
Okay, so now we'll head to the more active, where we're actually processing the samples on a day-to-day basis.
Sorry, I heard that some of the chickens has a little bit of problem. Are they fixed already? The chicken.
Sorry?
The chicken liquid handlers, are they all fixed? Are they all good?
Yeah, there's always small issues, but for the most part, they're all working. Yeah.
Let's see.
All right, so here, this is our main lab. And in this lab, so we have 2 types of devices here, which I'm sure you're familiar with.
Yeah.
All right, so the first type of device we have are the MGI STP 7000s. Yep. So here's the MGI STP 7000. We have 4 of these. These allow us both to process the samples. We scan the barcodes. We decap them in the robot. We remove some of the sample for processing, and then we recap the robot itself recaps the tube. So it's all contained inside the robot. It prevents contamination and keeps the tube closed, except when it's inside the actual robot.
Do we use the same tube, or do we have to change tubes?
Sorry?
Do we use the same tube, or do we have to change them?
No, we use the same tubes. We receive the tubes from the different testing sites, and then we use the same tubes. They come with barcodes. We use the same barcodes. We enter them into our system, but we don't transfer. We neutralize inside the tube itself.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
And then we remove a little bit from that tube to put into the deep well plates for the actual biological processes to extract the RNA, the DNA. And then we have, so here, as you're familiar, here are the Tekken robots, the liquid handlers. We have in this room, we currently have 9. We currently have 9 of them, and we're adding another 2 today. And inside this robot is where we purify and we extract the genetic material. The whole purification process takes place. And then from the purified genetic material, we then add some to PCR plates along with the PCR reaction mix. And then we remove the PCR plate into our next room over here, which is connected, where we have about 25 PCR machines. Yeah, so overall, between the two labs, we have right now set up, we're going to have a total of 17 tech and robots between both the R&D lab and the main lab. And we have potential to add some more. And we have additional PCR machines also in the R&D part of the lab. And if need be, we can use both labs for processing actual samples, depending on the amount of samples we're receiving. So right now, when we're receiving 10,000, one lab is enough for us. If need be, both labs are functional for use. Right now, we're keeping separate since it's convenient to have R&D separate from the main lab. So here, obviously, we put the PCR plates, and then at the end, we use the AIV test program, which you can see.
This is so cool. I'm so proud.
Right, so we use the program, exactly. So you're familiar with it, I'm sure. And this allows us to actually see, evaluate each sample, and then we can see, for example, we have a negative person over here, and then we have someone here who unfortunately seems to have the virus, as you can see from the red curve. So you see the red curve here? So this is an infected person.
27?
Sorry?
How many cycles? How many CT?
This particular one is 22.
Oh, 22. Oh, you come from
22. He's quite a high level of the virus.
Wow.
As opposed to, for example, this one is at 30. So still infected, but a lower rate. And then you have some where they're perfectly healthy, for example.
Yep.
So we've definitely seen recently more healthy.
Yeah.
And as I'm sure you're aware, so this program, which was developed here, so it's constantly learning and it's improving itself, and it helps the process go much quicker. Because when we look at the results, this already does the bulk of the work, and then we just verify that it hasn't made any mistakes, and the program is continuously improving and learning. It's based on machine learning, so it's always getting better.
Yeah, and of course, it's our own product. We build it by ourselves.
All right, sounds great.
And you can see here, I'll show you a little bit. So our samples, they come from this room. So this room is where the samples come in before they're neutralized. So we receive them from the different testing sites, the delivery person. And then in this room, they're taken out, they're entered into our system via the barcodes in the hoods. And then they're put in ovens to neutralize the sample, to neutralize the virus. And then they're passed through, as you can see, there's two windows here. Only one can be open at a time to maintain, to prevent contamination. So the samples are put in, they close on their side, and then on this side we open, we remove the samples, and then we start placing them. Here you can see, we replace them in the grids, which are then put into the different robots for processing. So it's a very streamlined process, and it keeps things, prevents contamination, and only in one room is it actually a live virus. Once it comes into this room, the virus has already been neutralized.
Good job, good job. This is our PCR lab. Our sequencing lab is not here yet, right?
Sorry?
Our sequencing lab is still in Hobo, right?
The sequencing lab is still in Rehovot, yes.
Okay. Which is smaller though. But this is something really cool. You done? Is that all? Good. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kelvin.
Thank you.
Bye.